That's smart.
So.
Are these for you?
Right.
I would think myself, I'm just like, you know what, you guys have business to run, this is our business, so just.
You got them all signed? Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes. Okay, it is, what is the date today? I don't even know what today is. Wednesday, the 17th, 2026, and the time now is, I don't even have that,
5:31.
5:31. And we are Williamson, Travis County Municipal Utility District 1, and we are ready to start our meeting. Would you like to do the pledge? Sure. Roll call. Carol.
Carol Laurel,
No, Avila.
Beth Jones.
stand for the pledge. Ready? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
A moment of silence. Okay, Cynthia?
Hi, I'm Cynthia Kimball. I'm the president of Lakeline Oaks HOA. I'm here to talk about the mud wall over here at the corner of Kristen, right there. We can see it in Old Mill. I understand Stephanie put it on the agenda for item number 8. Would like to work hand in hand as much as we can. Lakeline Oaks HOA has taken it upon ourselves to try to work with the apartment complex to help clear that brush, very, very thick brush, away from the mud wall. I talked to a manager when they existed there. They have since taken their managers away. And I have tried to reach out to their corporate office somewhere in Austin. 0, nothing, email, called multiple times. So whatever I can do to help or whatever you can do, we would like to work together to put some pressure on them to clean that up or to help you, whatever. I'm here, reach out, whatever we can do to help fix that, right? It's not good for anybody. It's a fire hazard. The homeless can sleep in there, and just, of course, it doesn't look great. So it's untidy. And I'm sure you would like to have brush off your wall and trees that are leaning there. It goes all the way down. That mud wall, it goes from there all the way down to the school, the daycare school, so close to Lakeline Oaks. I have had another Lakeline Oaks resident at the other end also complain, and so I've walked back there. It's really, really thick. But again, so I'm here to just say, whatever we can do, Lakeline Oaks HOA would like to partner with you, like to help you, as you talk about those items today.
I have a question for you.
Sure.
Have you sent a certified letter to them?
No.
Because it is their property.
Yeah. Well, and I know, but you have the easement, we don't. But, so there's all different pieces of making it happen, and, no, we haven't. I'm not gonna spend money on an attorney. I'd walk down to their office first and, you know, as we all have our volunteer jobs and our paid jobs, and one day I might just go down there, but happy to work with you. If there's anything we can do to add leverage, we're here to do that with you. Because I'm sure you'll want to get to that wall to keep it safe and clean. So, oh yeah, I know we're at time, but she just asked a question.
No, I know, okay.
Okay,
I was just making sure we're getting a little lost.
yeah, thank you.
Do you want to address that now, or do you want to address that in the general manager's report?
We can address it, and whoever wrote an email, I'd written back to that I wish it was our property. It would make it a lot easier, because then we could just cut it, but we can't cut it because it's not our property. It's got to go through whoever is that manager of the apartments. And so,
Right, so if you wanna write a joint letter and send it joint certified, I don't know what the best way to do it. You're more, have more experience with this than I do, so whatever your attorney,
okay,
if you wanna talk to our attorney too, I'm happy to help, whatever that is. And I don't wanna, I think there's a bee behind you.
there is,
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't know that.
yes.
Okay.
Tom. There's two Toms. Tom V.
Okay, first of these two, thank you. Yeah, so I want to address the board. There's a note in the engineer's report about the bond issue status. That's great. Now, when this bond was submitted, I wrote a letter to the TCEQ and I said, something doesn't smell right to me. This is a minor issue, but it's an issue. So I'm going to read you from the Texas Constitution. This is Article 16, Section 59. The section that applies to MUDs. This is one sentence. Here goes. The legislature shall not authorize the issuance of any bonds or provide for any indebtedness against any reclamation district, that's us, unless such proposition shall be first submitted to the qualified voters of such district and the proposition adopted. In our case, that proposition was adopted in 1985, and it allows the issuance of the aggregate maximum principal in the amount of, well, we know that, 25 million something. Now, we had a funding bond issued in 2005 and 2011, and the legislature and the attorney general will let you put in the issuance costs in those refunding bonds. Very nice. Thanks. But if you believe in the Constitution and you want to do what's right, you ask yourself, where did the voters authorize the overhead costs of those refunding bonds? Because it isn't in your bond analysis for the limit that you took out, right? You totally ignored those two refunding bond amounts. So where did it come from? You tell me. That's all I have. Thank you.
Linda.
One second, sorry. Whenever you're ready.
The cost to this district for the board's personal retribution lawsuit now stands at approximately $226,000 plus the $120 in attorney's fees the court ordered the district to pay. By the time Beth Jones and Hanoia Villa's terms expire in November, the cost to the taxpayers will likely exceed $500,000. And who pays for it? Every property owner in the district. Last month, Beth Jones asked me why the $100,000 the district spent defending both the MUD and her private social organization, MWANA, against my 2020 lawsuit did not bother me. To be clear, the $50,000 spent defending MWANA absolutely bothers me. Public money should never have been used to defend a private organization. The $50,000 spent defending the district, however, accomplished something for the taxpayers who paid for it. The lawsuit exposed and ended the fine scheme, where deed restriction fines were added to water bills and residents were effectively told, pay the fine or risk losing access to water service. It exposed and ended the slush fund created by those fines and transferred to Beth Jones's MWANA. It also brought an end to the self-appointed ACC operated by Chris Rocco and Gerald Burgess, exercising authority they were never given. That benefited every resident in the district. Now let's compare that to the lawsuit this board is pursuing today. What benefit has it provided to the taxpayers? What service has it improved? What public problem has it solved? The answer is simple: none. My lawsuit exposed misconduct and changed district policy for the better. Yours is costing taxpayers more than $500,000 to pursue personal grievances against residents who exercise their rights to speak. This November, remember who used public money to protect the public and who used public money to protect themselves. The evidence is public, the invoices are public, the court records are public. Visit mudeducation.org, review the facts for yourself, and vote accordingly. Because accountability doesn't begin in the boardroom, it begins at the ballot box. Whoops.
Yes, it does, and I am going to make a statement on that you are lying. And I'm also going to say that with MWANA, it's been around for years and years. Megan Dudo became a board member, and I took over for her so she could become a board member. I was on there a very short time. I did absolutely nothing, and you are lying. So the next person, because you're making that up, because I did take over for a few months. I did nothing with MWANA, and you know what? MWANA is when we had parades, and we did a lot of good things for this neighborhood until you sued us. So you are lying. Next person up is Tina. And if people want to do the research, please do.
Can you ever just not respond to a public comment and just sit there and take it?
Would you like to be removed? I'm not going to put up with it today.
Did I do something to be removed?
Yes, you just spoke out of turn. You
No,
don't
I
need to
didn't.
talk to me that
No, I
way.
didn't.
But
This
go
is my
ahead and
public
go.
comment.
Motion, I can
This is
second
my
that
public
fairly
comment.
quickly, so
This
just
is my
submit
public
a motion, we'll
comment.
get her out of this room.
I'm not being disruptive. This is my public comment time.
I hope the clock is ticking.
Sorry.
I'll
Thank
start
you.
it over.
We've been working on an investigative report from education.org to understand why Beth Jones and Chris Rocco have given more than $100,000 to Sage Management in just 13 months and over $15,000 to the Fowler Law Firm to send 9 letters in 9 months. What's been discovered should concern every taxpayer in this district. Neither Sage nor the Deed Restriction Committee can produce records for the 329 friendly reminder notices that were reportedly sent. They claim there is no copy of the friendly notice or who it was sent to, or what alleged violation was being addressed. Even more troubling, Sage's own invoices indicate that no notices have been sent by them in the past 8 months. So the obvious question is this: why are taxpayers paying over $8,000 per month for deed enforcement when no notices are being issued? Beth Jones claims deed enforcement has improved the appearance of the community. Yet when committee members, her and Rocco, were asked to identify properties that came into compliance because of these efforts, they couldn't do it. They could not identify what property was improved or provide any measurable results. They had no responsive records. At some time, Sage bills this district for public information request work, legal research, and additional meetings, all directed by the committee. Yet neither Sage nor the committee can produce records showing the PIR work performed, the research conducted, the dates of the meetings they attended, or the directives that authorized their charges. Think about that. The contractor has no records. The committee has no records, yet the invoices keep getting paid to the tune of over $100,000. This isn't about deed restrictions, it's about accountability. If Sage is providing value, show the records. If deed enforcement is improving the community, show the records. If $115,000 of taxpayer money has been well spent, prove it. Because when public money is spent without documentation and elected officials continue approving the bills anyway, that's not accountability, that's complicity. Visit education.org for the documents and investigative report into the Sage management scheme. It's a real eye-opener.
Tom.
I am commenting on agenda item 7B, consider RFP for district manager. I'm excited that the board is embarking on this search because this could dramatically improve quality of board decisions. I encourage you to have Bill Fry guide this process. He can help you define the specific requirements and maximize the pool of applicants. He might also help the board determine whether an RFQ, rather than an RFP, would better fit the type of candidate you are seeking. This decision is too important for the usual process of sending out vague requests to 3 vendors with a tight deadline and having one respond. Please draw a line in the sand and commit to not making a decision until you have multiple suitable candidates to interview. The board has expressed that the goal of the district manager is to see things at the macro level and help make good business decisions. I have translated this vision into 4 specific responsibilities, which I hope the board will include in the RFQ. The district manager will 1, recommend reserve targets for board consideration. 2, maintain cash flow and reserve projections. 3, provide scenario analysis for major financial decisions, including bonds. 4, support competitive procurements through clear scopes and broad outreach. As far as the other issues before the board, terminate the unconstitutional lawsuit now. Delay the bonds to start lift projects now with reserves. Deed restriction enforcement does not reasonably sustain taxable property values, so it is not authorized. Show reasonable reasoning or stop it. We don't seem to have a composting contract with Waste Management for yard waste. Please clarify and let residents know if yard waste goes into landfill. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, bookkeeper's report.
That's your consent agenda, so if you want your bookkeeper to go over the report, she can. Otherwise, your consent agenda is the bookkeeper's report, which includes the bills and invoices, and
The minutes.
the multiple set, well, the one set of regular meeting minutes and then certified
Move that we
agendas.
approve the consent agenda. as presented.
Any questions or anything else you want to talk about?
Well, I'll second the motion. I will make the comment that we did do a good review of everything the week before with Artesian. There were some things that we had some questions about with Infomart and Artesian, and we worked through those. And so I'm very confident in making that second to the motion.
I have no comments.
I have no comments. All in favor? Great. Okay, engineering report.
Okay, the first item is for the sanitary sewer cleaning and televising project. I wanted to ask first, because we have 4 different action items for this. Would you rather I go down each of the paragraphs and then we do all the action items at once? Or after each paragraph, we do the action item that's associated?
You okay? Are you okay going
Just
through
go
the whole
through it,
thing?
yeah. Just
Yeah,
go
go
through
ahead
it.
and go through the whole thing.
Okay. First is good news. We received the appropriate documentation from Ames. The first item is the Ames has requested a change order for the amount of $8,645.12 due to variations between the contract quantities and field conditions. Westwood has reviewed and verified these quantity adjustments and recommends approval of change order number 1. And the change order is attached. The next item is pay application number 2 and final from Ames. This includes the amount from the change order as well as the the release of retainage from the last pay application. So that amount is $42,639.06.
So you said that it includes that 8,000 from above?
Yes, it
Okay.
includes that and then the
So
retainage
it's
from the
that
last one.
additional amount that the change order was made. A question about that is, it was said there was a variance in what was described in the original contract as to what they actually found.
Yes.
And so they had to have more pipe or what?
Yes, there was more pipe. It was depending on the material. Some had
Okay.
some not material. Sorry, depending on the size of the pipe. Some pipe sizes were less and some were more. So that's how the change order came about.
Thank you.
But Westwood has reviewed this and recommends approving and authorizing pay application number 2. And final, the next item is that Westwood recommends that the board approves final completion for the sanitary sewer cleaning and televising project. The certificate of final completion is attached. And then the last item is a proposed change order on our part for our project. Throughout the completion of this project, Westwood provided additional construction administration services as a result of construction delays, missing and inadequate sewer televising reports, incomplete pay applications, missing project closeout documentation, additional coordination, and addressing inconsistencies between historical documents detailing the sewer system. Westwood requests board approval for the additional services change order based on the efforts extended to complete this project. Attached is a proposed change order to the project work order for the amount of $7,940.
Anything to say about that?
So,
What were the delays in the missing? We can check the missing reports. Was that on the contractor side?
yes, essentially, At first, we didn't have complete reports for each of the
Meeting
videos
online.
and the manhole inspections. So we had to kind of continue to follow up and coordinate with the contractor to try to get those reports. And they sent us revised reports that were still incomplete in September. And so we had to keep following up with them, keep coordinating with them, trying to get those reports. And we finally received the reports in December.
Were they missing deadlines?
Yes,
Have we paid them in full already, or are we still have retainage?
we still have retainage.
So we should take out, I mean, we shouldn't pay them in full, we should take out, I would imagine we would want to take out your costs, your additional costs to the district for their failure to meet the deadlines. I mean, I think I would run it by Jacob, talk with him, and then see on y'all's end, but that would be something I would recommend whenever it came down time to pay for the final invoice. To pay for the final contract, I would take that out, so the board doesn't have to basically eat the cost of y'all's work for having to track down the contractor's failure to follow the timeline of the contract. So, I mean, my recommendation would be probably pay, I mean, if you all want to approve the invoice to Westwood, because they kind of are the innocent party in this, and then when Westwood brings the final invoice, then they work behind the scenes to reduce the final invoice amount to make you all whole. That would be my recommendation, or at least make that, try to do that.
You're right.
Okay, the first recommendation from Jacob is that we pay the 42,000, and then now we have the addition, then the 7,000 is to Westwood itself, engineering firm. Are you saying hold out of that 42,000, or is that another contractor that you're talking about?
The 42,000 is including, that's from Ames. It's, they sent us their first pay app last year, and that amount we paid with minus the 10% retainage.
Okay.
I think we paid that, in October, the October board meeting. So,
Is Jacob
I don't know.
he is not, no.
involved?
But based on because there was various things with the documents that we received, historical documents from the previous engineer, that there were inconsistencies,
Okay.
and that's kind of what led to this amount, additional amount. The quantities between the field conditions and in the contract that we created.
When did you get Westwood paid that?
So is it Westwood's opinion that it's fair to close out this contract and then for the district to pay the additional $8,000 to Westwood? I mean, is that the position of Westwood, that there were delays outside of the contractor's control? Or were there delays that the contractor controlled that caused you all to charge the district an additional $8,000?
The change order, that was out of their control. They needed to video that line, but it was not accounted for on the bid form. But it is of Westwood's opinion or Westwood's recommendation to pay the pay application and close out the project.
So Westwood is recommending to us that we pay the full amount of 42,639, which included that additional 8,000 in that first change order, and then to pay to Westwood for their additional work that was necessary is the 7,940. So Westwood is recommending that we pay all of this.
The 7,940 paying us is up to the board's discretion,
Well, okay.
because that work was done at risk on our part. But it was necessary to complete the project, but it was done at risk. So our recommendation is to pay the pay application and close out the project.
And it's complete, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. All right.
So, the work order number 6, which is the one at risk, in the amount of $7,940, when was that authorized by Westwood?
The work order for this project was authorized, I believe, last December.
Sorry, the change order. So this was authorized last December?
The change order for,
Change order number 6 in the amount of $7,940.
okay,
Which is
that
the one-
was not authorized. That's for this meeting.
Okay.
And that's to Westwood themselves.
But you, Westwood, I'm assuming you have somehow authorized that change order. You're just
No.
bringing it up to us right now?
We're bringing it to you now. It's up to your discretion to authorize whether you pay that amount to us or not. That work was done at risk, so,
You're looking at number 4 under action
Yeah,
item?
number 4,
So
action
that's,
item
that's
number
a
6.
work
on change
order, that's not related to, it's related to the project in the sense that Westwood had to do additional work to work with the contractor to get the contract wrapped up. And so Westwood's cost is at $7,940.
Yeah.
So it's their first, so they're presenting it today for the first time as just a work order, work project order number 6. Those funds would go directly to Westwood to pay their engineers' time.
Yeah. Okay. Are we ready for one?
How do we want to handle that? Do we want to vote on it, or do we want to discuss it
No,
more?
we need to discuss this with more. I feel like I need to discuss this more before I vote on this.
And we can wait till the next meeting on that too, when we have 4 of us, 5 of us. Which I'm fine with that too.
And this wasn't brought up at the infrastructure
We won't be
committee.
paying.
It was not brought up at the infrastructure
No.
meeting?
This is new.
This payment to the
So
company.
do you want to hold off on this and get part of
Yeah,
it
we're
paid
gonna-
today, or?
We'll meet with Jacob.
Well, what about paying the banks company a portion of that $42,000?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too, we need to pay somebody some.
Because they've got details here.
Yeah.
Considerable details.
It's the 7,900 that we're concerned
But,
about, that we can hold off until you guys meet.
yeah, I think we can defer.
We'll pay off the rest.
Well, 42,000, is that what you're saying? Okay, well, I'll make the motion. All right, I will make the motion that we pay the $42,639.06 to Ames, which closes the contract out, the work is finalized, and that we hold off on the other one.
Yep.
For the committee to work back with the engineer.
You get a second on that?
I think, I know I said.
I said a second. Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. One motion. Okay, all in favor? One for that.
And that was for action items 1, 2, and 3? Okay. I have on your desk, Beth, I have tabs for each of the
Yes.
places you need to sign. I think it's
I see that one, okay.
the red.
There's 3, you said?
Yes,
I have 4.
The 4th one is for the Westwood change order, so you don't need to, if you're not authorizing that, then you don't need to sign that.
Okay.
But for I think the red, green, and blue,
Mhm.
I need your signature there for that.
Okay. Okay.
So, one moment. Are you through with your report?
No,
No,
I have some other items as well.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. The next item is for the lead and copper rural revisions project. Westwood has finalized the draft for the affidavit, which we've attached. The affidavit has been provided to the plumbing contact as well as the district attorney for review, and the contact has provided feedback. This affidavit, however, cannot confirm the material composition of the service lines from the water main up to the meter box. It only confirms from the meter box to the houses. Because that's what the plumbing company was involved with, was from the meter boxes to the housing up into the houses. Westwood is in coordination with Infomark for any records or documentation of the previous service line repairs or work orders for these subdivisions to try to figure out if we have any documentation of the material between the water mains and then the meter boxes. Westwood is also reviewing and researching, trying to identify any utility contractors that would have been responsible for the construction of the service line between the water main and the meter box. In the event that Westwood can identify a contractor or contractors who constructed that work, the same approach of interviewing for execution of an affidavit to validate service line materials will be conducted. If successful, Westwood will be able to document and affirm service line materials and subsequently update the service line inventory to the TCEQ. So this is for Anderson Mill West 1 through 4. So, any comment on that?
That's ongoing.
Okay.
Okay.
The next item is for the Degama and Sunchase Lift Station Rehabilitations Project. Westwood is nearing final design of this project and will review with the Infrastructure Committee when ready. Let's see. The next item is the Infrastructure Committee report. The meeting minutes are attached. And then the sidewalk assessment work order. Westwood has compiled a first draft of the sidewalk assessment and has sent it to the Infrastructure Committee to review. The next point is
that the one where the tree was potentially part of the problem?
that's another item.
Okay.
The sidewalk assessment was where I walked the district and assessed the sidewalks. The next item is the drought contingency plan. Westwood has updated the drought contingency plan. This is required to be reviewed and updated every 5 years. Westwood recommends that the board review and approve the adoption of the updated drought contingency plan. Westwood also requests that the board's general manager and/or information management committee to look through the plan and follow each of the action items, in particular in regards to the section on public education. Westwood requests authorization to provide a copy of this plan to the Lower Colorado Regional Water Planning Group. So the plan is attached, and the action item is to approve and adopt this plan. It's very similar to the previous plan that was passed in 2020. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so we need to make a motion to adopt it?
Yes.
No, we've not already done that, okay. I will make the motion that we adopt the drought contingency plan and authorize Westwood to provide a copy of the plan to the Lower Colorado Regional Water Planning Group.
Second that.
Any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
And Darrell will need to get that on the web.
Okay. Well, the next items, the next one is the 2012 Lake Lincoln Oaks CMU wall. I've been contacting the resident that lives at this address, but no response has been received yet. This was the one that we were quarterly inspecting, and then we went to twice a year inspecting, but I've not received a response from this resident, so. The next item is the 3210 Red Bay Drive CMU wall. Infomark stated in the infrastructure committee meeting that they were scheduled to meet with the resident on Wednesday, June 3rd with land care to quote the tree removal. I confirmed with Daryl that, that you were able to meet with the resident with land care. But as far as I remember, you weren't able to contact the neighboring resident so far?
Correct. Yeah, there's two different trees, one in that neighbor's backyard and then in the next door neighbor's.
The next item is the AT&T request for district maps.
So sorry, but before you go there,
Oh.
what's the outcome of the,
So for the one resident that I have contacted, I've got the quote
okay,
for that tree removal from Land Care. At, I believe it was last month's meeting, there was a little conversation possibly about the district covering part of the cost. I don't know if y'all want to discuss that further tonight, or if this is strictly the resident's responsibility to cover the cost of the tree removal.
so yeah, we'll go, but we do have an idea. I mean, the committee seems to, we've agreed that it should be the residents' responsibility to pay. So, but we'll, yeah, correct. But we'll discuss further. Go ahead. Well, unless you want to discuss that now, so I'll let you.
You want to discuss it now, or do you want to do it when you do your report?
It's up to you.
We'll wait.
The next item is the AT&T request for district maps. We follow up with them multiple times, but they have not responded yet. We're just wanting information from them on what they're trying to do in the district, what their plan is. The next item is the water accountability data. Infomark forwarded water accountability data to Westwood, and Westwood will analyze this data and update the board with any findings. The next item is the bond application report. Westwood contacted the TCQ reviewer about the bond application report review, and the reviewer stated that management review has been completed and that he is awaiting a signed consent package. So that's the update on that. But
And when do we get that signed consent package?
oh, he's waiting on.
We haven't
Oh,
received
he's
it yet.
waiting. Okay, we have not received it.
It's with
Yes.
the executive director right now.
Gotcha.
That's working.
And that concludes my report.
Thank you.
Can I collect that?
Okay, new business, Director of Education Development Conference fees. This,
Thank you so much.
yeah. Thanks for coming. Director of Education Development Conference fees, I know Chris isn't here, but this was just going back that the MUD covers the cost, not the individual board member. So we just need to make a vote on that, or if you have any discussion.
I move that we approve the fee and the cost for the development conference.
Okay.
Which, just conferences in general, just for the minutes, or, okay.
What's your conference is for the, we just
Okay,
need a
so
se-
AWBD.
can we get a second on that?
Well, I wanted to ask some questions, but,
Go for it.
We'll have a second
I'll
before we
give
discuss.
it a second, it's got okay.
well, okay, good. But when we decide on this, we're going to specify when we say the fee, that's the registration
Hotel.
cost. Okay, that's
It's
one.
usually the registration cost, it's your hotel
And
and
how much
your
of an allowance towards hotel and food, whatever? Do we have a scope, or is it just wide open? That's all I'm asking.
no, it's not wide open.
I think you all have,
We
I'll
had
have
it
to
from the
check
past.
your website. I think you have a resolution that discusses these types of reimbursable items, but
Okay.
I'd have to,
Well, I know it does, you're right, but I was just wondering if we had in place a, whatever the fee or the registration fee, and that will vary from conference to conference, and I think that's appropriate that we cover that. I think it's appropriate that we cover a minimum or maximum amount of hotel and food, stipend, and whatever you want to call it, but it's not a carte blanche. kind
Cole,
of
do you
thing.
have the one from last year or the one from the year before? All we're doing is
I'm
putting
trying
it
to-
back.
I'm looking at
Trying to put
y'all's
it back on
website.
the mud, not
I
on
apologize
the
for
individual.
that, I just think we
It's
need
fine.
to have a,
It's in there, we just need to go back to what it was. I mean, I could give you what it's close to, but, it's a rental car or your airfare or
okay.
fare and car. It's your hotel, it's your food, and it's for the conference.
So then we could say as per.
Oh, yeah, this has been going on for
you all have a resolution that you adopted
15
in
years.
February, that, yeah, will cover expenses, says receive fees of office, $150 per day, necessary to discharge, plus, okay, well, that's a little inaccurate, $7,200, that's changed. But director expenses, you're entitled to reimbursement of expenses incurred which are ordinary and necessary for carrying out duties. Expenses that qualify for reimbursement include travel expenses for airfare, car rental, and lodging. Airfare on a common carrier may not be reimbursed an amount exceeding the lowest available fare. Not to exceed $1,400 for airfare, car rental, lodging.
Okay, all right.
No reimbursement for entertainment or recreation or anything like that. That's what you all adopted.
Okay.
I would ask that just because fees went up a little bit, that we put it at 15, just $100 more. I mean, it's not that much, but everything has gone up, so just for it to last.
Well, this
last year?
reimbursement, this reimbursement does not include the fee, the registration fee. This is just like lodging and travel to get there. So your
So you need
registration
to-
fee would be on top of that.
Add 200 on that. So what would that be?
Well,
What is it?
fee, the resolution, according to
The old one?
according
Yes.
to the resolution of whatever that date is, plus the fee of, registration fee of the conference. Because it will vary from one conference to another, from one time to another.
They're all different.
Yes, just.
Depends on where you're going.
Yes.
So can we add that on there? Cool.
What do you want to add?
Elizabeth, this is Lisa Rickard.
Hey,
May I
Lisa.
speak?
Yes, you may.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to kind of do a reminder. The district pays $750 a year for membership to AWBD, and then the conferences are typically around $450 to $650 for either the winter or the summer conferences. It's a little bit less if you register early, and then they add usually $50, $100 as it gets a little further, of course, trying to encourage people to register early.
Correct.
So just wanted to clarify that for you.
Okay. Thank you, Lisa.
Okay, well, Coles said that we really don't need to add anything in there about the fee that it's covered.
Yeah, I mean, the fee isn't considered that's a district cost for the director, so that's not a reimbursable that you'll show. So the reimbursables, that $1,400 includes your airfare, rental car, mileage, if you drive, and lodging and meals.
So right now it's capped at 1,400.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay.
And all
That's
that we're
correct.
doing is instead of taking it out of our pockets, that it's coming out of the mud. Because it's something that we all need to be attending.
But right now the way it is if you attend AWBD and you submit your reimbursement form to Lisa, she pays it. She reimburses you for that. That's how it's
It
traditionally
came
done.
out of our checks last year.
Oh, out of your per diems?
Yeah. So we just need to put it back to how it was, that it comes back from the mud, not from the individual.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you fill out your reimbursement forms and, like, the way most districts work is that if a director wants to attend a conference, they let the bookkeeper know, hey, we want to attend AWBD or
Right.
conference XYZ, whatever it is. If you're to say, I want to attend a conference on, baseball cards, probably their bookkeeper's going to say, I don't think that's going to fly. But for AWBD or any water-related conferences, especially since y'all are members of these, you tell your bookkeeper, she'll register you for that conference. So you're registered, you're signed up, and then in terms of lodging, different districts handle it different ways, but most of the time, the directors will then book their hotels through the site, or again, Lisa, I mean, jump in if I'm wrong,
Yeah.
or Lisa might be able to register, someone in her office might be able to register you in the hotels, and then they have it, they pay for it, and then when you go and you travel there and you drive 100 miles with gas, or, drive 100 miles in gas and have a couple meals, then you fill out your reimbursement form and send that to Lisa, and she pays what that reimbursement is. The rest of it would be covered
We
elsewhere.
switched it back to rental cars because of when the last, well, it's been a few presidents ago, but when their car broke down, so that's why.
If I
we have
could
rental cars.
jump in here for a second. Cole, a few years back, the AWBD stopped allowing bookkeepers to register on behalf of a director. And that was because of the release indemnifying AWBD if anything were to occur or happen at the conference. So unfortunately, we cannot register. We can certainly send all the information. When a new director comes on board, we notify AWBD that there's a new director, but we can't register. So the director registers, at some point registration opens and they can register themselves. They have a login, and if they need more information about that, we can certainly put them in touch with someone at AWBD. And then at that point, if they want to use a room from the block of rooms that's set aside, then there's another process. They get an email, and then they have to use that number. They get a code, whereas they can use that number to then register for a room for the conference.
That's fine.
And those are...
No, I understand, that's fine. And so basically, if the bookkeeper is gonna do it, then you all register and you submit your reimbursements to Lisa for her to reimburse out of district funds. That's how
Yes.
the process works.
And we get invoice from AWBD for the registration fee, so the director never pays that, nor does the director have to be reimbursed for that. It's just the expenses that the director incurs as a result of traveling, as you had explained earlier.
Okay.
Okay,
So just to clarify, what I'm hearing is then there's no need for a motion because we have a standing resolution that caps the transportation, meals, and lodging up to $1,400, and each director gets to register for the conference. That's what I'm hearing, right? So then there's no need to approve a conference fee because it's already...
Correct, y'all have logins, or you should have logins to be able to register yourself for those items, yes.
okay, then I'll let Chris know. Okay, move on. Consider RFP for district manager. Bill, you wanna come up and speak?
Sure. Over the last few weeks or so, we developed a job description for the general manager, which was sent to you last night, actually.
Yeah.
Changes. And I just made one copy of it. I didn't know if it was going to be presented or not, but thanks, Tom, for your recommendation. Whether it be an RFP or RFQ, to me it's the same. Basically, you're going to ask somebody for their qualifications and what they're proposed to do as general manager, their fees, right? As far as having an RFP, I was anticipating that the board would approve going out for an RFP or RFQ tonight based on the job description that we put together. I can go through the job description if that's what you would like for me to do, or
How do you want to do
I
that,
can
Colin?
provide copies to the board. I didn't bring his copies of it.
No, we weren't gonna, we talked about it
I
today,
think-
we're not doing that.
Did y'all say y'all wanted to, did you want to defer until the next month, or do you want to just go ahead and issue the RFP? I know you gave me a change or two this afternoon to make, which I could just cross out on there, and then he can publish it after, if y'all want to go ahead.
I was gonna say it's gonna be published. Yeah, we just took 2 things off.
Okay, let me see, I'll mark off what, I'll try to remember what they told me, and then I'll get back to you.
That's what I sent you last night.
Thank
I
you.
just printed it.
Chris is-
Oh, yeah, I remember.
he's putting a lot.
Okay, I know there were some things other that you had on there, I did not include in what I sent back to him, which,
And we took some, I think he took some things
he
off.
took some other things off since I sent it back last night, that's fine. So if I'm going to continue to do work for the district, I do have a draft consultant agreement for me to continue, and I have one copy of it I was gonna give the attorney. I don't think the attorney's received anything at this point, is that correct?
Correct.
Only if Chris sent you something.
I have not gotten it.
Okay, so what I've been doing is communicating with 2 members of the board, being Beth and Chris, about this general manager position and trying to put together and getting their input. So those are the 2 folks that I worked with on the job description. And I'm willing to do whatever for the board. I just want to make sure it's clear that there is pay for me to do that. If there's not, then I can assist some phone calls, but that's about it. So my fee's $100 an hour, okay? And I will tell you, I told Beth and I told Chris that I worked on everything up to this point, no charge. Because I went ahead and included it in the first $1,000 that you paid me to get to this point. But from this point forward, it's, I think I need to be paid for my services.
Sure, the question I can ask is, so if you were to continue, exactly what is it that you would be doing for us if you continue from this?
Well, it's what you're directing me to do. So, sounds like you've directed me to get a publication of this
Okay,
RFP or put together an RFP.
okay, and you've done that?
I have not done that.
Okay, that's.
I have only done the job description, and I really would like to work with your attorney to make sure we put out an RFP that meets the qualifications for publication for a municipal utility district. Because I know there's some legal things that you have to do, right? Tell me or not. But anyway, if we make a request, put something out for the public to respond to, I just need to make sure it's done correctly.
So what's going forward, then you would be working with our attorney to develop the RFP, correct?
And to try to get something out as sooner than later.
And to publish it.
To get it put into some kind of publications, and there's a couple of publications I just want to mention that would probably draw the type of people we're looking for, and that's some association publications such as Texas Water Utilities Association is one of them. We would put that information out for them to respond. But then it needs to be something that we have to put a deadline on and respond by a certain date.
Right.
And I was trying to see if we could make sure we have something pretty quick where they could respond within at least 30 days.
Okay. So that was my next question. First part of that is, so if to work with the attorney to develop the RFP and then to further to get it published in these various places, as you said, estimating how long is that going to be? You said you
Depends on how much time him and I have back and forth. So at this point, I've done everything that I've done at this point
Okay,
for the fee that have already been paid.
sure, yeah.
From tonight on, it's $100 an hour, as much as needed, and I'm very conservative on my time. Because I've spent quite a bit of time already, and I feel like I've done a good job providing that information. So if that's amenable, I'll continue to work even though I don't have an agreement to go forward and help get this moving. But I do want the consideration of a consulting agreement, which also has a 10-day out, not 30-day out, for both parties. So you can.
I would like to do 14 days for it to be out, and if we don't get anything that we're looking for, then we can always extend it at the next meeting. And it would be nice if we could keep it moving so that we're interviewing people at the next meeting, or,
So
it's not gonna be at a
So
meeting,
then
I will tell you that.
we would have a motion
Go ahead.
then to,
Yeah.
So this
for him
is
to go
a
ahead and work with Cole.
Yes.
Bill, when Bill said there's a 10-day out, what he meant is that the termination clause in this, most contracts, termination clause give for a 30-day termination. His is a 10-day notice period instead of 30. So that's what he meant by the 10
That's all I'm
days.
saying in
Yeah.
that regard. All I'm saying is that there's an agreement that I put together that's kind of a standard consultant agreement that I've used in the past, which may not meet the requirements of the attorneys. I don't know how attorneys like to look at all different pieces, especially indemnification, because districts can't indemnify private companies. I get that.
I have a question. So you've been primarily working with the committee, meaning Beth, and so it is my
Chris.
understanding that, that we are done with the RFQ, the request for qualification. That is completed, right?
We are
Yes.
done with the job description.
Okay.
We are not done with producing an RFP or RFQ to be sent out for publication or, I mean, it should be fairly simple. Basically,
It'll be
take
very-
a job description,
Gotcha.
this is what we're looking for, and here's,
Now, from what you have produced, should we then, Cole, approve the job description as is, so that we can then go ahead and have him continue the work of developing the RFQ pending the signature of the agreement?
Yeah, I mean, I think you can approve the job description and approve the preparal of the RFQ and publication of it as soon as it's ready. I mean, the job description is gonna be, I'll tell you, my role doesn't really come in until we get the contract from the contractor, and I look at that. That's, what the committee and Bill elect to put in the job description and the RFQ is gonna be what the committee thinks is best, and ultimately the board thinks is best for the district, what services the district needs. So you can publish that, that's been put together, you can publish that, and then once you start to get candidates filing in, then you'll get their proposal or their qualifications or proposals, you'll look at those, and then that's when you'll make a decision, and then if you select, candidate A, they'll provide a contract, and we'll work on a contract with them to ensure that, everything that they said they're gonna be doing, they're going to be doing.
then there's another possibility is we could actually develop a contract for the general manager, here's the contract that we propose.
Yeah.
You can do it that way as well. They can propose something, but I think eventually the district will have their say of what the contract's going to include.
Yeah.
With whoever, whether it's an individual or whether it's a company.
Right.
The company could say, we'll provide that general manager.
So you're the committee, do you want to go ahead and approve that agreement? Not agreement, the job description?
The job description, yes.
Okay.
Okay?
So I need a motion. Do you need a motion? Do you want to say that motion?
I make a motion that we go ahead and we put out an RFP with the job description that we have, and put it out there for 14 days. Let's see what happens. If we need to extend it, we can always extend it later.
I'd recommend doing 30 days, just a full month period. That way at least it'll last until your next board meeting.
And what
That's
I'm willing to do,
And you get more people to look at it.
and I think I put it in my agreement, I'm willing to assist in the interim, working with the district consultants and contractors as an interim general.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I thought we would have you retain you under an agreement.
And that's in that agreement.
Yeah. Ongoing as a consultant. So I think what I heard is we do need a consultant ongoing. So it's not like, we're just gonna hire this manager and that's gonna be the end of it. We do need a consultant that we can consult, right? So.
And I'm just management waterways water consultant, so that's
Right.
So 30 days, I'll second that.
Carol, anything else? Okay, all in favor?
And I'll be in communication with you.
Chris,
the
yeah,
attorney.
that's fine.
And what we'll do is on the next agenda, we'll have approval of the consulting agreement, so that'll give me time to look at it, and then you'll formally approve it at the board meeting.
Okay. Bookkeeper to present a proposal to process ACH in place of paper checks when applicable.
Okay, can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Out of clear.
Okay, I sent a copy of an email that had been sent to Cole a few months ago. I hope everyone received it. Don't know, I mean, I did send it to everyone, but I don't know if it was uploaded onto the Google Drive. But even if you don't have anything in front of you, I can just explain it. There's 2 documents that I sent. So the process that we're looking at is converting from using checks to ACH origination. And just to kind of explain for those of you that might not realize, there's 2 different ways you can do an ACH transaction. You can contact the company that that we owe something to every month and allow them to take the money out of our account. And that's the most common one, just like you might do with your home mortgage payments or your car note or any other type of payment. You might allow them to electronically withdraw money out of your account. These transactions are called ACH origination, which means they originate with the person who wants to pay for an expense or bill. What the difference is that we do not give them the ability to access our account in any kind of way. Because you're a government entity, it's a lot more dangerous for you and risky for you to do that. If something were to happen and the system to be compromised by whoever you allowed to draw money out of your account, then whatever balance happens to be in an account at that time would be at risk. So this takes the risk off of the entity that's looking to pay a bill, which is Williamson Travis MUD1. So in this process, we have 2 documents that we use. One document goes to the person that we're trying to pay, the payee, and that document was drafted by the bank that we use. Basically asks them for permission and has them sign off on allowing us to send money for bill payment as opposed to sending them a check. Now, we've had the vast majority of vendors, consultants that we work with are thrilled to have this. They get their money quicker than they would by paper check. And the fear of a check being stolen or lost in the mail is reduced. The other side of it is we have a document that we produce to the board. You currently, in your report, you have a cash flow, and that cash flow shows every single check that's being written, and you're approving those checks. You'll still see that, but it won't appear as a list of checks. It'll be a list of items to be paid via ACH. You will then have a separate document that has a list of all of those payments, and you will sign that. There's a place for 3 signatures, just like there is on a check. We get 3 board members to approve them. If any of them happen to be subject to, either holding or the board just declined to pay that, we certainly would make note of that and change that on the document. Once that document is signed, then we get a copy of that document and we process the ACH transactions. So this process could take us probably about a month to set it up. We'd have to contact each one of your vendors and consultants. We'd have to get them to fill out the form. We would treat this just the same way we do with wires. Once we receive the information, we then call back to a known number and have them verify. Just make sure that the information wasn't sent to us erroneously or someone hacked into their system and captured their emails and sent us what looks like an authentic email, but it's not. So we verify every single one of them. At that point, we start paying them after the meeting's over with, the board is approved. Then we will, the next day or the day after, depending on what day it falls on and if there's a holiday or anything, and then we will pay all of those I don't know if you guys have any questions. We have worked with your auditor. We have several other districts that we do this with, and we've been doing it for about 18 months. It is something fairly new in our industry. It's certainly not something new out there for counties, cities. Doing electronic payments is become very common. And of course, a lot of people are paid their payroll now via, direct pay and ACH transactions. We estimate it take about 7 to 10 hours to set it all up, as I described what we need to do, and at 150 an hour. And after that, there is no any additional fees unless we get a new vendor. And just that one-time setup, maybe 30 minutes at the most. This would also save on having to mail checks back and forth. The only thing we can't do is we can't do checks for refunds, deposit refunds. We'll still have to do checks for that. But we do that for other districts, and they've decided to do them every other month or every 3 months, and that way it's something that they deal with not on a regular basis, and it's not something that has to be said in a rush after a meeting to get paid. Again, of course, that's strictly up to you guys. You guys have any questions for me about the process?
So, just to clarify, there are a few listed on the ACH disbursement approval that won't work with us using the ACH system, that they would still want or require a paper check. Is that correct?
I'm sorry, it broke up a little bit. Could you repeat that, Hanoi?
Yeah, there's a list here that of vendors that would require a paper check. Is that correct?
4 or 5 on there.
So like CD of
You
Cedar
mean
Park.
the list that I provided as an example?
This is an example. Correct.
No, that was just an example of what it would look like.
So what about the ones that are highlighted?
Oh, those are the ones that we don't have an invoice yet. So you're authorizing us to make that payment. Because sometimes we come to a meeting, we don't have an invoice yet, and time-wise, it's the same concept as a holding check. Okay. So you're authorizing us to pay, City of Cedar Park or Oracle Security Solutions or utilities, and you allow us to pay those without knowing the amount. And then, of course, on the next report, we show you exactly what we paid.
Gotcha.
So those are not ones that don't accept ACH. It's just those are ones that we may have to ask you if we can make the payment without providing the amount.
The amount, correct. So in that disbursement approval every month, it would reflect 0, correct?
Yes.
Okay, got it.
And like I said, it's just like we do now. We call it a holding check now.
Gotcha.
Where we hold, you sign a check. It doesn't have an amount in it. And we keep those under lock and key, and then when the invoice comes, we pull those holding checks and we go ahead and fill in the amount and mail it off and pay the utility or whatever it is. It's typically utilities that we do that with.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you.
And of course, if there are any vendors that decline, I've had very few decline because they want to get paid quicker and they want to get paid. It's definitely a lot easier for everyone. And we have, like I said, we've set up a process. We took a lot of time. We worked with attorneys. We worked with the auditor and the bank to ensure that we could, make sure funds are safe. The process we have at our firm for who can initiate and then who can authorize an ACH transaction has been approved by the auditor, and they've now audited about 8 of our districts that have been doing this, and it's worked out great. We use the document that you sign as the proof, that this has been authorized by the board. And of course, like you said, if at a meeting you decided you didn't want to pay one of those checks, then we would mark that out and make note of it and put it in the minutes, of course.
Any other discussion?
I think we need a motion, right, to approve those.
Anybody else have any questions?
No, we're good. Thank you, Lisa.
I will make a motion that we approve the system, the ACH system, and put it into play as soon as possible.
I'll second that.
All in favor? Okay. General Manager.
Just one,
Thank you.
just one comment off of the ACH. She did mention that the resident refunds would not be able to be done in this manner, and still have to require paper checks. Just bringing that up so that y'all can consider whether you want to make any changes to the rate order, because she did mention that, you know, some districts, because of that, they only process the resident refunds every, you know, maybe 60 days or 90 days. So just something to consider for the board for possible rate order revision.
Thank you, Darrell. Good point.
Yeah, absolutely, Lisa. Getting into my report, water accountability for April is 81%. I'm hoping that increases due to the leak that was repaired over here in the cul-de-sac in the middle of May. So we'll look at that for next month. The streetlight survey was conducted on May 15th. There were no outages to report to PEC. The pond inspections were completed on May 6th and May 8th before we got some of this more recent rain. The report is included in the packet, and our assistant manager was in some trainings and things, and we don't have the recommended work that came out of that report. We don't yet have quotes, but I'll have those for the next meeting for you.
Okay.
As far as billing, there were 81 delinquent letters mailed, 55 tags hung, and 6 disconnects. All of those disconnects were then paid and restored service. In the board packet, there is a, it's required, it's called a critical load report that districts provide to the utility companies, TECQ, like for your lift stations. That's considered critical infrastructure. That report is part of the packet, and just need your approval to submit that to TCEQ as needed.
What's it called? Critical.
It is the critical load report.
Critical load.
Yes. Basically, like if they ever get into a winter situation where they need to turn power off in certain areas, they have these facilities identified and how they're connected to the grid so that they don't disconnect that critical infrastructure.
This to be submitted to who again?
TCEQ. And then it goes out to other organizations as well, including the utilities.
So do we need a motion for that? To approve?
Just to approve the report to be submitted by Infomark, yes.
Okay.
Do you want to, there are a number of other quotes and things that I have in the report. Do you want to include that report approval in with the other quotes, or do you want to keep it as a separate motion?
Keep it as a separate, what do you think, Beth?
Let's keep it separate.
I move that we approve the critical load report to be submitted by Infomark to TCEQ.
Thank you.
And I second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
At a previous meeting, we had worked with the kind of information committee and instructed Caleb at Touchstone to make some changes to the website, mainly cutting out very old posts and things like that, just the meeting announcements that get posted as like blog posts. and then some other items. Those recommendations that were sent to him were recently completed. So I'd encourage you to take a look at the website. So now, like those blog posts, they will keep current year and the prior year. So everything prior to 2025 is now gone. I think there were items on there from very long ago. So it's going to help your website. It's going to be more manageable and accessible. Like when somebody actually visits it, it's going to be a little bit faster because it's not loading all of that content at so just wanted to update you on that, though there is one item that I would still like to work with the Information Committee on, is the kind of the documents page of the website. There's a lot of documents there. I don't know if they're all still needed, but I've sent a list and would like to set up a meeting in the future to discuss if there are documents or anything that are not relevant anymore that could be purged. As far as previous projects that were approved by the board, there was the Brighton Bend Pond, cleaning the trickle channel in the outfall areas. That's been completed. The generator field services performed the repair of the controller at the Dagama lift station generator. That was completed. While they were there and testing everything afterwards, they basically realized that when the generator is started, that essentially the fuel pump that controls the generator kind of maxes out, and it's not limiting, it's not adjusting the fuel properly. I'm still waiting on a repair estimate for that. In order for the generator to be manually turned off, you literally have to remove the air filter and put a 2x4 on the air intake to choke out that big diesel engine. So at this time, that generator is manually turned off, because if it were to start, it's going to damage the engine even more. So again, I'll get that sent to you as soon as possible, but that will need to be considered at the next board meeting as well. Let's see, that same Dagama lift station was scheduled for a cleaning, and that was completed on the 9th of this month. I'm also, just kind of as a note about the lift station, we've had to clean it a lot more frequently. We've kind of talked about this during the infrastructure committee meetings. I have reached out to the director and assistant director for Leander ISD to find out who would manage. Most kitchen or commercial kitchen facilities have what's called a grease trap that should be maintained by the property owner. I'm just trying to get a local contact at the two schools to make sure that those items are being maintained as they should. Just kind of send a friendly communication to them. Have not heard back yet. I know it's summer, but I think that those facility people are still pretty much year round. So we'll continue to work on contacting them.
And when was that sent out, Daryl?
I'd have to check my email. It's been within the last probably 2 weeks. It was shortly after our infrastructure committee meeting, which, let's see, when was that?
It was June 1st.
Was it the first? Mm-hmm. Okay, yes. So it was that first week of June that I'd sent that communication to them. Okay. Next was...
Before you go next, I just have
Sure.
one question that kind of still pending up here.
Yeah.
The deletion of the data deletion of the website, Cole, is there any concern as to like, do we have to archive that information? Are we archiving that information just in case?
Yes, good, great question. Yes, Caleb provided me basically a backup file.
Okay.
It has to be, it's so large that you actually need another application on your computer that runs it as a server. So I've got full access. Cole's provided the same information. I actually ran the server application that he suggested and was able to basically point it to the file and open it. And I was able to browse your existing website as of maybe a month ago or so. That's also on the Google Drive for archiving in case any of that information is needed in the future.
Thanks.
Yeah. Next item was the leak repair over here on Woodridge in the cul-de-sac that Samco identified as a probable leak. There was a 1.5 inch service line off of the main that went up into that cul-de-sac that went over to the residence meter box. It had about 1.5 inches or so crack in that line. Kind of conservative estimate was about 50 gallons a minute, which is over 30,000, I believe it was over 32 or 33,000 gallons a month. That was likely. It's hard to tell because until you excavate it, you know, the dirt and everything contains some pressure on that leak. And once you excavate it, I mean, there's nothing holding it back. So it's hard to get a really accurate estimate on a leak like that when it's underground, but that was the estimate. We still are pending the pavement repair with all the rain. Alpha Paving suggested that we hold off because with all the rain that we've had, I mean, it's got a lot of moisture in the ground now. They would like to see it dry up just a little bit so that they can do a proper compaction before they repave that section that was excavated in that cul-de-sac. So that part is still pending. There was another cleanup there at the Madeline Loop detention pond. That was completed. The one at Cashel Wood and Vestavia. Yeah. I always mess up the name with that one. Those two, the sediment in the triple channels and everything were removed, but they also needed to, the basins themselves needed to be regraded because there was channels that were cut into those by the water flow. It's continued to be too wet. We cannot get the equipment into those ponds to redo those basins, so those two are still pending as well. I met, I forget what day it was, maybe the 4th, I want to say. I met the AT&T fiber installer here at the building. He was just kind of looking at, you know, where the service currently runs into the building. It actually comes out by the curb there. There's that kind of small panel there. It actually goes into the ground out there, and then it comes up into the building in the outside storage closet. Currently, the fiber is across the street, and then it's a good ways down the street on this side. He was going to put in the requests. They're either going to bring it across the street over here, probably next to the stop sign, or they're going to have to run it down along the curb like they did when they installed the main fiber line. But that's going to require permits and everything. Could take weeks to maybe a month, depending on how long it takes them to get the permits. I occasionally will get email updates just on the progression of the work order that was submitted. But that's to get the new AT&T fiber installed here in the building. It's going to save you cost over your current Spectrum service. that's not the best speed. So that is still pending. I have several things for your review and consideration this evening. The first one is we were contacted by a resident, and within the CMU walls, every so often at the very bottom, there's kind of like an open grate that allows water drainage through there. There's one, the resident was just reporting that his was all knocked out and broken. It looks like maybe it had been repaired in the past. I'm not sure of that, but I have a quote for your consideration for that replacement of that one drainage block. It's $920. The resident's backyard backs up to Hatch Road. And I think the address is on the quote itself for you.
So is that a quote for the item itself and the labor, or is it
Yes, that's everything
total
included.
cost?
Yeah.
to replace
They
it?
will have to coordinate with the resident. Most of the work they can do from the Hatch Road side, but just to finalize everything with all the mortar and everything, they will have to coordinate with the resident to be able to access their backyard to make it look good on the inside as well.
You want to, go ahead.
You want us to approve
Do you,
that vote?
do you want to do individual approvals, or do you want to do a bulk approval at the end?
Let's just individuals, that way, in case we need to make a change to anything, so.
Well, I make a motion that we take care of this, replace the grate in the wall,
The drain block for $920.
$922.
I'll second that.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
The next quote is a repeat. It's for the repair of the CMU wall. I still haven't been able to make contact with the property owner because they actually have the larger tree that's more of a concern, because if it keeps, it looks like, I don't know if it was struck by lightning or what, but it looks like it just split in two. And it's a very large tree that needs to be taken out. So I would not recommend trying to repair that wall until that tree is gone, because it's $6,000 to repair that section of wall. So I would recommend waiting to repair that section of the wall.
Yeah.
It was
But
kind
I
of
guess,
yes.
But if you never get if the people never agree or talk to you about removing the tree, what are we gonna do?
Have you sent a certified letter?
The certified letter is getting sent out this week.
Okay.
Okay, okay.
The next item,
And so that letter,
yeah.
is that letter just kind of giving an option to the resident, or what's the content of the letter? What are you?
I actually wanted to draft a letter and then kind of get Cole's input on it as to what it should actually say. The main thing I need is just contact. I just need to talk to you about this.
Okay.
But I mean, this one is it's further away from the wall versus the other resident that we've discussed.
Yeah.
That one is not damaging the wall. It's been leaning over for quite some time, and it does need to be removed before it causes any issues. But I don't think there's any damage or danger of that. This other large one, it is a few feet from the wall, but because of its size, when it did split, that's what damaged the wall. So I would hope that, I mean, at a $6,000 bill, maybe there could be a property insurance claim. I don't know, but the property owner does not live there. It's a rental property.
Right. But for sure, the tree caused the damage. It's right.
Yeah, the next door neighbor, it's kind of leaning and falling on the wooden fence in between them, and she had her dad actually cut one of the branches because it was on the CMU wall.
Well, that's good.
So
I wonder if we can, of course, we got to contact first, but I'm wondering if this is, can we file a claim?
That's what I was wondering, have you
The
talked
district,
to
the
insurance
district
at
might
all?
be able to file a claim.
Yeah, have
On
you,
the district's
can we
CMU wall.
look at that? I mean, I would think that we would be able to do that. I know we have on other things.
okay. Any other discussion on that item? Okay. The next item was kind of discussed during the public comment about the vegetation over here. I did have Land Care provide a quote for the cleanup. It's $1,950 for a one-time cleanup. But as it was discussed, that's not really the MUD's property on that side. That's also why it's not included in Land Care's contract
And we can't-
to
we are
maintain
not-
maintain that section.
I did do I have looked at some stuff, but we can't touch it. I wish we could. I wish we could just go in there and clean it up, because I think it looks horrible.
But can we contact the, what is it, apartment building?
It's it's a complex.
But there's gotta be a property owner, and
I
report
don't know
that.
what they use for services.
Well, I was saying that reporting that the area is a health hazard, it's et cetera, and the wall is needing to be repaired.
Reach out to the property manager, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure they
Can
have a
you do that
property manager that
Yep.
needs to do that.
And say we'd like to,
Please.
because we gotta fix the wall, we want to get the wall fixed, and we need the place cleaned up, so we can fix the wall.
Oh, people can walk back there too. Because right now, it's a mess.
With trying to contact the property manager, obviously, best case scenario, I can make contact with them and convince them to clean it up.
That would be the hope.
Okay, all right. I'll proceed forward with that as the goal.
The wall is ours.
Any other discussion before I move on to the next topic? Okay.
Hopefully we'll get that manager to do something about it.
Well, I know Cynthia said that she had, I think, wasn't it Cynthia? I'm sorry, the resident?
Yes,
Yeah.
Cynthia.
I know she said that she had tried and didn't have luck, so maybe I'm lucky.
Yeah, maybe you are.
You'd requested that a AED defibrillator be installed here in the board meeting room. We've got two different quotes in the packet for that. There's one through one of our normal kind of vendors that we use. It's called USA Blue Book. That one is $3,192.66.
3,000?
Yes.
3,000 what?
$192.66 versus a Philips AED defibrillator with case and installation and everything. Both of these include us installing it and everything on the wall.
Right.
In kind of like a case. That one would be ordered through Amazon for the defibrillator in the case, and it's $2,017.59, so a little over $1,000 less.
So what are the brands again? The first one was?
USA Blue Book?
Yeah, it's from USA Blue Book, but let me see if he has the name of the defibrillator.
How do we come to terms that we needed them for this facility?
I think those are the public.
People are here.
Yeah, it doesn't have the manufacturer's name on the quote.
But is there, when you're looking at this, there's a difference in price, but a description of them,
We can't hear
Here
you,
it
Beth. We can't hear you back here.
We can't hear you either while you're talking. That what we were talking about is why would we want to have that?
Exactly, that's what we
Darrell, the question I had
Yes.
was, is the difference in cost, but more importantly, what is the difference in the two items?
Just where we're ordering them from.
But I mean, they're the same power, the same what? I don't know.
They're both the same classification
Okay.
as an emergency defibrillator. The Blue Book quote, it just lists it as an AED plus defibrillator. It doesn't list a brand like Amazon did, that it was Philips. I can look into it more to try to find out what the brand is. I also know that when he sent me the quotes, he said these things are only good for about 5 years.
Wow.
And then they're, you know, the battery and everything inside of them is considered to be non-reliable and recommended for replacement. So this
So
could be
you would
a,
have to replace the entire thing every 5 years?
yes. That's my understanding. I can verify that for you though.
I think before we make any decision, I'm not an expert in this, so I'm kind of wondering what the requirements are. Because if we are jumping into this and making this decision, I'm assuming that there's some sort of requirement and code that requires us to do that. And I want to make sure that before we do any installation and investment, that we are meeting the proper guidelines, if there are any. And so I would like to know what the guidelines are, why are we installing one, and if we are to install one, what is the recommended type to do this?
Okay.
So let's put it to the next meeting and we can do a little bit more research. How's that? Agree?
Okay.
Yeah, next meeting, I think next meeting. So I just kind of want to know rationale behind this. Why are we bringing this up? This is the
Just so
first
we
time I've
have-
heard this.
Just so that we have one in the building.
Yeah, but why? I mean, like, why do we have to have one? I'm not saying that we shouldn't. I just want to say if there's something that was brought up.
If a resident was in here having a heart attack, we would need to have something.
I get that, but I want to know more, like, why now?
I
So is there
think,
anything that you know?
I'm not aware of why the request was made.
And who made the request, do you know? Did somebody make the request, a resident, the board?
That was resident. It
I
was
think,
brought-
I
mean, it
think
was
there
brought up.
is a standard, for example, your public schools have to have these kinds of equipment.
Yes.
We are a public building, if you will, a public governmental body is here. And that is perhaps the background of why it should be here. And you're right, there's a standard of us. I know in school world, there are standards that we have to maintain in terms of the things that we, yeah. But I'm not saying that I know that exactly at this stage of life. I'm just relying on what I once knew about public places.
I'm going to go on a limb and just say that just because it's a government building, I mean,
Linda, would you like to, I'm sorry that Linda's being so rude. Would you like to share with us what you're talking about?
Yeah. We were wondering what the need was for, because we wouldn't trust you guys to start our homes.
By the way, you don't use an AED for somebody with a heart condition, you'll kill them.
Okay, but those are things that would be
Those are
taken
those
into
kind of
consideration.
things.
Those things would be taken into consideration.
Oh, really?
There would be guidelines and rules and regs and protocol in place, and there would be trained personnel. It wouldn't just be willy-nilly any one of us to do whatever.
You're not
So-
required to have it, you're not.
Thank you, Tina.
Okay, well, that's a good question, good point.
Yes,
But,
you're not required to have it.
Okay, all right, we'll keep that in mind. But can you look into that for us?
absolutely.
Thanks.
And all I was going to say was, you know, the last time I've been in a courthouse or other government buildings, I haven't noticed them. I would agree schools and things like that probably
They're
have
kept
them.
in a certain place, yeah.
But I wouldn't think that it's a requirement, but I'll look into that for you.
I think we need some consultation of this, because if something happened in this building, somebody uses that equipment that doesn't know how to use
Right.
it, then we create a huge liability. Do we, once we put this into this building, then do we have to pay somebody that's licensed to function, which creates an additional bill? I mean, there's a lot of questions, so before we touch that, you know, we want to make sure that we're going to put something into this building that's not going to create, number one, a liability or an ongoing bill, unnecessary bill for the district.
Okay. The next item was to get locking handles for the storage room or room right over here for these two doors. That quote was $489.36. Currently, they don't have any types of locking mechanism on either of these doors.
That amount was what, 400?
$489.36.
Okay.
Any discussion on that?
So you have a quote already for that?
Yes, it's in the packet.
And that includes labor and
That
installation
includes
and stuff?
installing and all the hardware.
Here, I move that we approve the installation of the 2 locks in the amount of $489.36
I'll second
in the building.
Did you second it?
You second it, so call the vote.
All in favor?
The next item, as you may or may not be aware, we're required to take water samples from various places within the district every single day. There's 8 different addresses. It's a little difficult to actually change the sampling locations within the district with TECQ. One resident has asked us to not sample at her house, just because the sampling process, you essentially have to open the hose bib on the outside of the house and let it run, because the TECQ requirements is that you're testing a fresh sample from the main. And in order to ensure that you're getting fresh water from the main, you've got to let the water run at full force for, I believe, our standard is 5 minutes. I didn't think it would happen, but I actually saw a video, and I guess in that section of the district, the water pressure is kind of high. And the water literally like shoots across her sidewalk and digs a hole into her yard. So the solution to that is to purchase and install, it's a water sampling device that's installed out in the meter box. It kind of wires off the water service going to a sampling point, and then also to the meter to run the water to the house as normal. That would allow us to take that sample out at the meter box at the street and avoid any further disruption to the resident. The device and installing it is $1,968.50. As far as I know, it's the only resident that we sample from that has contacted me, at least in the last year and a half, with any type of complaint like that. I would recommend doing this because of the disruption to the resident, kind of as a test. I'm sure it's going to work and satisfy the resident, but just in case any of the other sampling point addresses come up with a similar complaint in the future, we've got a solution.
How many sites do we have?
8.
And we have are all 8 tested every day, or are they just randomly picked?
It's on a rotation.
Okay,
So they're roughly tested just almost once a week.
Okay,
This 1,900 and what again?
$1,968.50.
And is that the only quote we have?
Yes, that's also the only, it's kind of a niche little product. It's the only manufacturer that we're aware of that makes a device like this for sampling points. The only other ones are tied into the main in almost like a water fountain in the park. It's a large metal cylinder that's encased. They primarily recommend those up north where it freezes more. this device still in the meter box, and everything like that, so no concern over the freezing in this area.
Okay.
Just something for your consideration. The only other item would be to provide the resident the information for them to contact TECQ to request not to be used as a sampling point, because that's the process to get it changed. The resident has to make the request to TECQ. I don't know how that works, how long it takes, but there is that alternative that I did want to mention. Cole, have you ever run across this issue with sampling points? Okay. I asked a lot of my colleagues in a big group chat with everyone. Nobody else has ever had this, so. I mean, so.
I mean, my recommendation would be first have Daryl reach out to the resident and have them make the waiver to the TCEQ.
Yeah. And if they don't want to
Okay.
make the waiver, they can then.
Then Daryl would come back.
If they have to make the request.
Right.
We can't request it for them.
Right. So then,
Let's wait and see what happens.
Okay, I'll reach out to the
Thanks for bringing it to
resident.
our attention, though.
Yeah.
It's good to know.
I'll reach out to the resident and provide her all of the information that I'll find on the TCEQ website to be able to request that.
Right.
and can you in that same time let them know, right, they would have to, if they waive, then they would have to make the request and it's on them
Yes.
to do that? Okay.
Yes.
Good.
Okay. The next quote is also from Land Care. It's to do some hydromulching over at the Anderson Mill West Park. There's several different areas. There's a map in the packet that shows the different areas that would be hydromulched. Hydromulch is just a way to get grass seed applied to the ground. And it would also, I think there was a couple stumps that were kind of in that area. So removing those, but basically trying to establish grass back in those areas where there just is none right now.
Right. And how much is that?
$3,900.
And that's for that whole half area?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
It's
know
not too
Land Care,
bad
it's
for-
great, but do we have any other quotes?
I have not requested any other quotes. We met him on site to kind of go over the different areas, and that's how he developed his quote. I can try and reach out to some other landscapers, but I don't know anyone that's going to come into the district to perform kind of a small job like that. But I can reach out to some different vendors that I work with to see if they would quote something like this.
What do you think? Do you think it's in the right range or?
For the area that he's going to be covering, I mean, this is basically 1,200 gallons of hydromulch, which covers a pretty extensive area.
It's pretty big.
And with the other additional kind of cleanup and things that would be done to the ground itself before he hydromulches.
It's all those stumps that have not been taken out.
I mean, I would like to have another quote, but what do y'all think?
Well, I mean,
I don't think you're good.
he's already there. If somebody else would be coming in just to do that, it would be he's here doing that. But that's product and labor.
Well, I know what I
Yes.
was doing, so I'm good with it. It's a lot.
Motion.
Make a motion that Land Care comes out with a mulching hydro mulch, which will be removing the stumps and also mulching the areas that need to be done on the side of Anderson Mill West Park, and that is for $3,900. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Anybody else want to talk about it?
Thanks, Lou.
All in favor? That's a good price, for all these two.
Also, there at the Anderson Mill West Park, there where the monument sign is, there's shrubs and everything that grow up, essentially covering the sign. His recommendation was to pull those plants out and kind of put in more seasonal plants, like you have here in the front 4 pedestals here in front of the building. Let's see. They would also be adjusting, obviously, the irrigation that's in that area, and then, remulching that entire bed. That quote is $2,157.62.
2,000 what?
157.62.
How big an area is
Where that sign is on both sides?
It's
Plant.
it's a fairly large kind
Is
of
it?
bed that encompasses that sign. If I had to guess, I'm gonna probably say 12 to 15 feet by probably 8 to 10.
That's right at 2,000.
What are we budget-wise for these kind of items?
I'd like to send you the phone number, so.
The bush.
I would, as far as that, I'd have to get with Renee and Lisa to look at the most updated
I'm
budget
just kind of
numbers.
concerned, and I mean,
Let's wait on this one for the next meeting. Maybe bring it up again when there's more of us and figure out what we want to do. And you can go back and look at it. Okay, you can go look at it. You both can go look
All right.
at it.
The next quote, sorry.
sorry, I was just asking a question.
There are 2 dead trees in the median near El Salito and 620 that need to be removed. I don't know if it's the Texas drought that we've had the last few years, but they're not budding out, they're not leafing out. There's no new growth on either of the trees. To remove those would be $942.86.
That one, we don't have a choice. We've got-
Yes.
That would be Lanker.
Yes, it is.
So I'll make a quote that we remove 2, is that right?
2 dead trees.
2 dead trees for $942.86, which is off of El Salito and 620.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor? I don't have a choice, they're gonna come out.
The next quote is some irrigation repairs, the next 2. There is a 1.5 inch valve here that needs to be replaced, and then a 2 inch irrigation valve over at the Anderson Mill West Park. They're both not working currently and are recommended for repair, or replacement, sorry.
2 valves?
They're the irrigation valves that turn on and off to control the different zones of the irrigation system. But yes, they're valves.
And how much are those 2?
For both of those, it's $1,242.
Yeah, move that we approve the repair of the irrigation valves in the amount of $1,242.
I'll second.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Final item, I believe, is there's some irrigation repairs that are needed along West near 620. And I'm just going off of his description. As you enter the property on the left side of the sidewalk along the street side, they would be replacing 2 spray heads. And the bigger issue is that zones 6 through 12 are not currently operating. So this is also time included on that to investigate. It's probably a wiring issue, most likely of what's causing those zones not to operate. And I believe he estimated it's essentially replacing those 2 4-inch spray heads, and then 4 hours to investigate why those 6 zones are not working.
And the amount?
$570.04. Actually, it should be $526.59 because this quote has tax added onto it, which normally doesn't have that.
Okay, so it's really $526.59.
Correct, without the tax amount.
Okay. Well, that needs to be done. So I'll make a motion that we have 2 spray heads that need to be fixed, zones 6 through 12. The amount to repair this and to have somebody pretty much tear it up and find out what's wrong is $526.59.
Second that.
All in favor? Okay.
Thank you. Are there any questions about anything that is outstanding?
I think we covered it all.
I certainly hope so. Thank you.
Maybe we can have a walkthrough next month. Beth and I can go and see the branches that need to be removed and the proposal that you just shared. We won for $2,157.62.
Absolutely.
Committee assignments and reports, including Parks Committee, including discuss needed repairs. Do we have any of that before? Do we have any needed repairs right now?
Just the
Everything's
items.
good.
Just the items that I've already covered.
Okay. The other thing that the Parks Committee has talked about was to have movies in the park. We haven't done that in probably 2 years, 3 years. But we'd like to do that with the kids this summer, probably the end of July. We are asking for Parks Committee for $1,100, which will pay for the movie, which, as you know, the movie's not cheap because we're doing this with the public. And then we'll just serve popcorn and have the families, bring their blankets and chairs and stuff like that. So what we're asking is for $1,100 for movies in the park. We'll have a date for you coming up. We just didn't have it approved first, and then we'll figure out what day we could do that.
And I think, don't we need to have in that cost that you're requesting, I know last couple of years, we had to make a copyright request
Yes, that's why it costs so much money. Yes.
to play the movie in the park. So we have all the equipment somewhere.
We do.
Just the question is, how much is that going to cost? The requesting the copyright. Do you recall? Well, you weren't here a couple of years
No,
ago.
it was,
I don't. I can look back in the records to try and find that.
Yeah, you can. So you're doing a not to exceed amount of $1,100?
correct.
I'll second that.
So this is something we want to do, you said the end of July, but which that will be here very quickly, and we need to get some advertising going. I apologize. We need to get some advertising going.
So we can put that up as soon as we have the date. We can put that up on the message board that we have that travels.
Okay,
How do
okay.
you feel about that?
Well, if we don't tonight set a date, are we gonna say the end of July, or are we gonna say 1st of August? Because school starts, kids will be going to school in the middle of August.
It'll either be the last week of July or the first week of August.
And we'll get advertising going very quickly to say it's coming or something of that sort, at the end of July,
Yes.
or
You
first.
can put it on the website, you can, there's some ways to get it out there.
Is there a desired movie already selected?
Well, that's what I need to see what we can get for a decent price.
Okay.
That's what it's gonna depend on. Wanting to get it approved first, then we can figure out what we can try to fit in there. It was really expensive last time.
I'm sure most people don't
And if I have to come
go
back,
through
we
that
can figure
process
it out
and
next month.
just
or
get a
whatever.
DVD and play it.
Don't you wish? I wish we could.
I'm saying what most would do.
I know. I know. Okay. So do you want me to, do I need to make another motion out of that, Cole?
No, you have a motion for 1100
Okay.
for the committee to.
Can I get a second?
You second that.
Okay, any more discussion, Carol? I know you,
No, I just know that we need to get it out there very quickly. It'll come quickly.
Can we get some volunteers from the community like we did last time on doing this?
That's true. We need a lot of hands.
Yeah.
My understanding, I didn't see it before, but my understanding is it takes quite a few folks to get the screen up. So we need some volunteers quickly.
okay, all in favor? Let's see what we got next. Information Management Committee.
He gave a report on where we are.
The
Website updates done. Budget Committee, bills, invoice done. Deed Restriction Committee, I do have one. We would like to order signs for yard of the month. We have brought it up with some people, they think it's exciting, when you're gonna start it, 'cause we'd like to be, of the month, but I think it would help, a lot. It's only $200 for the sign, so. But it's something motivating for the neighborhood, so I just was gonna bring it to the board and see, I don't have Chris here, but that was, the thing is, can we approve 6 signs for starting, see how it goes? $200. And if I could get that, can I get a second motion on that one, it'd be great.
I'll second that.
And he's not here. Okay, any
Question,
questions?
have we done this before?
We have not.
So this is, okay, new, that the committee is proposing.
Mhm.
Okay. And who is going to make the decision on who's the winner to get these signs in place? Is that the committee, or is this going
It'll
to
be, well, it'll be Sage, because they're out there driving it, and then they'll give us what they think was the best houses, most improved, whatever. And then,
So Sage
we'll
will be
take it.
making the report to the committee, and then.
no, and then the committee decides on the ones that they give us.
So they
Because we only have so many signs.
like they'll pick 5 or something, and then y'all review those and pick one or something.
Okay.
And then with the board, will you all like make an announcement at the meeting, so-and-so house gets
That's nice, yeah,
the yard of the month?
yeah. Put it on the webpage and.
Well, if you started it this month, seeing how it's June, are you okay if we do it this month and I send it to the board who we pick? And then next month, we'll start bringing it to the board, and I can bring it next month too, hopefully.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. I just figured that way the board y'all could formally kind of vote on it and just say, the district recognizes X resident for yard of the month. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to get them out.
So you're
this
saying
month.
it'd be best to have a board decision and vote on the best yard?
I mean, I don't necessarily think that matters because there's nothing,
Yeah, are we all gonna go look at all these yards?
there's nothing really that this does, I'll say. But I'm saying if you wanted to publicly announce it at the board meeting, make it like an official Williamson Travis County's #1 type of recognition, then it would be best to do it
Right, and then,
Then we had the same, the only thing I had, my question on that was, we can get a street name again. I mean, you can drive down the street and see the signs, but you can't get a house number, right? Same thing.
Yeah, I mean,
But we can say what street they're on.
yeah, people will know exactly where they're at when
Yeah.
they see the sign, so.
They'll see it.
well, and take a
These people
picture,
have done a lot of
you
work.
announce it here or whenever, but take a picture of the sign in the yard, whatever, with a person or something, I don't know, put that on the webpage to announce.
There's two people that are really excited about it, if we
Yeah,
do that.
yeah.
They want,
I've been asked before.
yeah, they want it. So,
So we've got a motion by Beth, a second by Carol.
any other discussion? Okay, all in favor? Okay, trying to think if there's anything else.
Attorneys.
Committee, infrastructure committee, do you have anything?
No, all we have is Chris and I are going to meet again to kind of go over the sidewalk assessment report that has been submitted to both Chris, myself. It's a really good assessment. I've kind of skimmed through the whole thing, and it's very detailed. And so anyways, I think we can, after that, we'll be ready to publish that information somehow. So that's all I have.
Okay. On security committee, we're gonna go down to 3 days a week just for the summer. That was what we talked about in the security committee. We'll go back up to 5 when school starts again. Anybody have anything about that? Okay. Old business, status ongoing litigation. I don't think we have any, do we have anything to discuss?
I have nothing.
It's still ongoing. It has not been dismissed. As we all know in this community, it's in the court system, so we will wait and see.
Okay, attorney's report?
I have nothing for you all. We've provided the PIR spreadsheet that's in your packets, and we've been tracking that. And as Grant mentioned, the bond application report is still at the TCEQ. It's been approved, and it's at the executive director's desk. What they do is this process for that for the residents and for everybody is you send an application to the TCEQ. They do an initial look to see, do you have all the documents that are required for an application? If you do, it's declared administratively complete. So this application was declared administratively complete a month and a half, 2 months ago. That's when it enters into the review process where they review all the documents, they review election history, project, all that type of stuff. And then once that is approved, if it's not approved, you get an update saying it's not approved, you're missing something. If it is approved, you get a consent package. And that's basically a memorandum from the TCEQ that details their understanding of the bonds, the district, what they see. They'll put, if there's financial limitations, they'll put restrictions in there. I don't think this affects you all, but if there's an issue where, a project is far in the future, they'll say, well, then you're required to put X amount into an escrow account and hold until that project is complete, in which case you can pay yourself back for the project. That wouldn't be the case here. But they put together a consent package with a memorandum and an order. Our office, your financial advisor, and your engineer review that. We offer any comments. If there are any, we look for typographical errors. Anything that jumps out that's inaccurate, we change. And then once we send that back to the TCEQ, they send over what's called the formal order approving bonds. And so at that stage, that's when it's out of the TCEQ's hands, and it kicks over to your financial advisor to prepare offering documents. That's kind of how that process works.
Okay.
One question
Sure.
about a conversation I had with you regarding PIRs. When a resident or a person has reached the maximum 36 hours,
Yes.
are they notified or?
They're notified anytime anytime anyone makes a PIR, we send them a statement
Okay.
that tracks how much time was spent for that particular PIR and then how much time that's been spent on that particular requester for the entire year. So anyone who's made requests And if they're at that 36 hour, they are notified, they're aware
They're
that they've
notified.
hit their
All right.
limit, yes,
Okay.
correct.
Thank you.
Okay.
That's all I have.
Does anybody need to go into executive session for anything? Okay.
So,
Actions related to matters discussed, we are not doing that. Such other matters that may come before for the board, including A, discussion about items to be included in the agenda for future meetings. You have anything? July 15th is our next meeting.
I don't have anything for now.
Will you guys both be here? I will not. I'll be far, far away.
I'll be here.
Okay.
Well, I guess I'll be gone the next day, I guess. I guess I can wait till the next day to go. So, yeah, I'll be here.
Okay.
Anything planned for, anything that we need to do on our website for elections? So I know.
There was a notice deadline that we posted, the notice of candidates, basically it's a notice that provides candidates with the dates in which they can apply for a place on the ballot. So that's been posted on the district's website, it's been posted in the district, and it's also posted in our office as well, which no one will see, but it's of course an office of the district. So that's all posted, and then once, I'll have an election timeline for you all at your July meeting. I'll try to send it out beforehand in case you have questions, but yeah, we're on top of that, so.
Good.
And if there are people who are going to put their name on the ballot, who are not sitting board members, that document that they complete has to be notarized.
I don't know, it might have to,
Yes,
yeah.
it does,
Yeah.
it does. So I know that you provide that service at your office, if they come to your office, but they don't have to do that.
No, they can get it notarized
By any place.
by any notary,
Yes.
any notary, and then send it to our office, or,
Well, that's the question, are they to send it to your office, or are they to send it directly into the state office?
if it gets sent to the state, it'll get lost, it goes to
Okay,
us.
okay, all right, very good, very good.
No, any applications, they can be handed to me, in person at a meeting during the time frame. They can be they can be emailed to me, they can be FedEx, sent, dropped off in person. It's within the certain deadlines. We can't accept applications until a certain date, and then once that date ends at 5 o'clock, we can't accept anymore, so.
So they're open on July 18th, and the deadline is,
I'll
I didn't know. All right. You're good. I just want to be sure everybody's informed. Because when I talked to the Williamson County, sometime back, when I talked to Williamson County election avenue, whatever they are, department, I got crazy answers, so.
I'll put that memo together for you all, so you have it, and then you can post it on your website if you'd like.
Yes. That would be good.
Yeah, let me see, first aid, July 18th is the first day to apply for a place on the ballot. And then August 17th is the last day to apply for a place on the ballot. So the time frame is between July 18th and August 17th.
Anything else?
I have nothing.
It is 7:44, and this meeting has come to adjournment.
Done.
Thank you, Carl.
You're welcome. Have a good day. Very good night.
You too. gonna set this over here because I can't make it stop.
Daryl.
All right, thanks for being here. I appreciate it. All right.
Whatever actually is compost. I don't think it does.
I'm guessing no, it goes into the same truck as the trash.
Thanks, y'all. Have a good night. Stay safe.
Now, I know that they offer like
Rip your swag.
So
I'll
that's
have
actually
to, yes, it is. And I'm gonna confirm whether.
Carol, do you have yours?
Hello, Barger.
Yes, yes.
That's okay. Yeah, thanks so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Over there, look into it.
Did you get my email today?
Yeah.
Interesting.
More of the little hijinks going on.
Interesting.
There's always something. Yeah, you just look at it.
Yeah, you do. You gotta ask for the records. You gotta ask for the records when you get done.
Did you notice everything else?
25, they deleted it, but guess what? Guess what? We captured it all of it, and it's gonna go on YouTube. You got all the meetings, they'll be on YouTube. All the meetings that you whacked, we're gonna put them on YouTube. That you whacked off the website?
Oh,
All the stuff that came off the website,
that,
we have them all, we captured it all, and we're gonna put it on YouTube.
okay.
And it's searchable that way, if you can't search it on the platform. I know, you're just following it. I get it, I really do get it.
It's my job.
I know.